Podcast. Caleb.
Woo!
How you feeling?
Friday.
Feeling like Ric Flair?
That's right.
Woo! Watch. Yeah. We've got our friend Laina here. Very excited. We're going to talk so much.
That's right.
Legal stuff, websites, nerd shit, Trump. Who knows?
Woo!
Sweat Equity Podcast. I'll fix that music cue one day. I'm no engineer. I can wear a lot of hats, Caleb, but I can't.
I think in real estate they call that charm or character.
Yeah,
I think that's what they call it.
When it has a hard cut outro.
When that floor is just slanting down, they're like, it's charm.
Oh yeah,
charming bunk.
I got hosed on that deal. The fucking floor's caving in. You could roll marbles and they'd all find each other in one part of the fucking house. Sweat Equity Podcast. If you're here, your family, like Olive Garden, go on iTunes, 5-star review. Tell a friend.
Yeah,
we're doing this for the love of to have interesting conversations.
Yeah, because we have sponsors now. We're all fans selling out or something. No. We need some love still. We need a little and help us out, man. Help spread the word. The family member, get on iTunes, subscribe, download.
The best thing I heard, I think we brought it up in a previous podcast, was from Marcus Lemonis, the Prophet, CNBC show, about what fucks up, and it's about they have too much ego. Yeah. That's why Bar Rescue will always have people. Bar owners have crazy ego, and I hope no matter what happened in this, we're just curious, and even if does come our way by way of, I still hope it's never like I'm gonna put my dick on the table and I know everything to know about. I don't do that.
I think no matter what you're in, you're always learning, right?
Right. So this is kind of a journey of sorts. Yes, I like the journey. I like to see Mark freak out. He got engaged and then off, and that's the backstory.
Yeah, Marin's got a real asked for
Pete Holmes is great too.
Yeah. The
dude went from first in super Christian. Now he's got a new show with Judd Apatow on HBO. And he's finding himself, and it's a really interesting part of that podcast I really love. Curious about being spiritual and finding out Christian and finding out about how to love people, and that I think that's cool.
If you're here,
you're
on that journey with us. And we do have a sponsor for today's show. We want to kind of give them a shout out because they've shown us some love. So at Toko Works, we've been working on getting off the ground a little more accessible to their customer. Build that base. You can check Tampa.com. Check it out. It's not fully finished yet, but looks amazing.
By the time I'm working on a weekend, we're doing this on a Friday.
So when you find folks, check it out and are on your phones at a red light, checking out the website, it will be fully finished.
So let me pitch Jordan, the owner.
Oh yeah, please do.
Jordan Long, great dude. He's about 26, I think 27.
Nice.
Went to UF. He met with us. He needed some help on the online marketing side. We needed some badass furniture. And Josh and I were blown away. Josh is my business partner, founder of Tokabaga Consulting. And we were blown away by Kate with us. He's way sure than his years.
Right.
Also in a field that you don't really get till you're like 40. And when he left, I was like, I'm going to call my friends to work for E.
Yeah.
Because this guy, he's a good looking dude too. And like, he just He approaches it like we do. So business comes, what do you need done? Two, you come in, you don't have a design with you, and kind of go, okay, he'll draw it out with you. Do you like it like that? How about this? Or how about this? And he'll articulate your head trapped in there. That is something that's super hard to do.
Yeah,
on the fly.
To be able to pull that out. Sometimes customers don't always know.
Right.
And it's to kind of and to kind of have a couple keywords that you can kind of dance around for him to be able to pull out something even better than what you were thinking. That's rare. It's valuable. He's going to be around for a while. So.
Yeah, and to have a good working relationship. My wife's on him, so let's guess that if you're on video, kind of be quiet and listening. Is Caltagirone? Caltagirone. Let's get you up to that. Okay. Microphone is a robot dick, and you got to get right near that dick. I hope your family doesn't listen to this. We've known each other since what, we were 5.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen each other 3 years or 2-3 years for, I'm guessing, similar reasons. You're doing your own thing, and you're an attorney from Maine, right?
I did undergrad and then University of Miami for law school.
Nice.
You can take it out of the mic, out of the.
We do have, for those of you who aren't on the portion of the podcast, it is a weird sit at the ends of a tape and a dad, and like the most conservative. And then our
Norman
guest,
Rockwell.
Yeah, it's in the middle, so they're trying to properly make talking, and their heads on a swivel, kind
of.
of.
Hold it like a rapper if you want. There's
perfect.
A lot of people.
It's Friday, so we may have you freestyle at the show.
Good, I'm great at that.
Perfect.
Yeah, Resto's giving us a conference regular, so no more of this. Yeah. Attorney, you went to law school where?
University of Miami.
Yeah. Okay. The U. What?
U.
That crazy. Was it hard to go to school in Miami and Coral Gables?
Yes, it was.
In your early 20s?
But I was prepped well because I went to college in New Orleans.
That's true.
I did 4. So yeah, I felt like by the time I got most of the system, but Miami's a whole different.
Like a little another country down there.
When you're from Tampa, like when I went to college, people were like, "Fuck yeah, we're going to strip clubs." I was like, "I've been doing it." So it's not like Tampa's like Miami light. If there were Bud Light.
Very light.
We're like
ultra.
We're like Bud Margarita beer.
But there's crazy and the thing with Miami, New Orleans is craziness kind of gets to you. You can't avoid it sometimes. So theory. But so you went to law school and now business. I am. This is literally us catching up.
I think we connected like right when I moved back, so 3.5 years ago. And what were you doing at the time?
Several things, like a Jamaican. I was doing stand up a lot, doing the road a lot. I was doing, I think, let's see, I was either doing affiliate, like doing ads for Dr. Oz loved, because people would buy everything. That was a little too scummy. Or I was just started called Sola Salon Studios, which was kind of a consulting / do everything as it's your own deal. Was working on the franchising. That kind of felt, I was like, this is great. It's a great of it. I love the idea. I love taking a lot of terrible situations and helping them become small business owners. So that was kind of almost a crash course on what we're doing currently. Small, medium business consulting. So
that gave you a chance to get like behind the scenes.
Dude, if you hijack this and start asking me questions, I will talk about myself.
Okay.
So So you 3 years ago we hung out. We were trying to work on a stand-up show with the charity involvement, and that was
did not work.
No, but it was, I do a lot of stuff that fails, and we talk about that a lot.
Yeah,
usually from
really have to be called failures. You know what I mean? Like every time something goes wrong like that or something doesn't pay, you learn something great and use it later.
Yeah, I learned theater, kind of how to market a show at a theater.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
But I would consider a failure of a half full theater because you want to fill it up. We had are good. About me, so you came back to Tampa about 3 years ago.
Yeah,
when we were little. Used to date the mouth of the Southeastern Conference, Mr. Tommy Howell.
Oh my God. My first boyfriend. Do you
I
know that?
Fuck yeah, I know that. He's like my little brother.
I hear about the story of like the slapping. First time I've ever slapped a boy. I've never done it again.
Slap the mouth of the South.
He like said something sassy to me. I guess that's the mouth of the South thing.
For those unaware, Tommy Howell is the Triple Option podcast. We've been doing for about 4 years, and the mouth of the South Eastern Conference.
It's gonna be interesting for come preseason coverage.
Ask. I don't know what it would shut up, but for some reason
did not go well.
And I'm not that type of person. I never do that. I don't think it's happened. I know. Maybe I am.
That story to probably why you're working on the entrepreneurial endeavor. What's going on?
Oh, I'm doing a lot. So I'll break it down. So since you saw me years ago, I was just joining my dad's firm. I practice law together, and we have a small family, and we do personal injury law.
Okay.
So auto accidents, slip and fall, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's been doing it for 40 years. So I joined him, and I'm kind of rebranding and adding new things to the firm, one of which is entrepreneurial law.
Uh-huh.
So over the years, in the past 3 years, and even when I was in Miami, I worked with like a lot of small businesses and solopreneurs.
Uh-huh.
And I helped them many different.
What's a solopreneur?
One-person business.
Just
nice.
Sometimes just I know what it is.
No.
Yeah.
But I want to.
Perfect.
I'll try to throw it in there in case there's something that's.
Perfect.
So go ahead.
So the years, I've always loved business. I was going to go to business school before I chose.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always been fascinated with business. So I started helping like random small business owners from like and weird, interesting stuff. Like, I've helped photographers. I've helped
photographers.
Yeah.
No. When and this is not weird to me, but I've helped life coaches, I have photographer, like all different things. Small brewery. That helps like every.
Yeah, and I think kind of, and not to get like too philosophical, but those kind of things that maybe your business avenues kind of can prepare you for getting on board ones because you've seen it all, right?
Right.
You've gotten the awkward conversation. Probably was a good segue and to prepare to more normal business.
And normal, I don't know. I'm super into the whole. I don't know how much you know about like my retreat and my coaching.
Yeah.
It's a whole different thing.
I always feel creepy being like, I saw it on Facebook.
How we know anything.
But if it's true,
I know, but it's still like when it's a dude saying it to a chick, it always sounds creepy to me. It's like, I saw your shit on Facebook. You're like, cool. All right, thanks. Like, you're like, all right. But like when a dude's like, I saw it on Facebook.
I don't. The news feed is. I think it does a pretty good job of half and half, right?
Yeah.
It makes it fair game.
Yeah, they've gone more they've gone crazy with advertising in the newsfeed. But maybe we were talking about you coming on 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I had a family emergency thing, and we couldn't do it. So sometimes when you look people up, like I was looking up your page, sometimes that shit will pop up.
Yeah,
more,
that's the point of it. That's what you're trying to do is share it with as many people as possible. So
yeah, look, I'm not too good to say I don't use it. If anything, I probably bitching on there.
Oh, you're doing the bitching on
Well, I like to
Facebook.
write jokes. I don't bitch like, man, fucking Obama didn't do this. I don't do that kind. I try to write jokes and test them out, or
That's not bitching. That's great.
it can be.
You wait, so
My
you
tone.
didn't write a status? It's like, if Trump's elected, I'm moving.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, okay.
I was like, I still
I
have
should
people.
screenshot this and just keep.
I'm still friends with people who like think that way, and they're like, I'm gonna. This is a really cool thought. Everyone needs to know. You still share that? Really?
I really do.
You're like, I'm moving.
Not like complaining thoughts. Like, I don't know, things.
No,
that
you don't.
Yeah.
That's
That's good. If
shit.
X, Y, and Z is elected president, I'm moving. It's like,
Right.
no one. You're not friends with anyone on here, really.
So
Like,
Right.
just to break
just call
down
college hunks before
any
you do it.
vulnerability on that. Caleb has the scouting block, which is it's
Yeah.
a perspective for high school kids that are looking to get in college or possibly pros.
Yeah, we produce recruiting videos for high school baseball players to help them gain more exposure. So
Well, that's cool.
But
Yeah,
a
it's
lot
neat.
of their
It's cool.
online content is like
yeah,
more Nike style, but it's
Right.
still like it's still pushed out there. It's not like it's hard enough. There's someone filling your shoes. That's used, but
Right. No, I know what you mean.
that's like kind of a lot of the sports style. For yours, it's like more about being thoughtful, or
and I think
Yeah.
we need more positive messages on social. It's such
Oh,
such a powerful tool that we look at. I mean, for some people, it's an addiction. It consumes most of their lives, and to see negativity all the time, it's taxing, man.
I was just today, and we were saying, like, where that what you post, it doesn't just like affect your mood, and you post about it. That post, everyone sees it, and whether you know or not, that energy put behind it, like people pick up on, and
Yeah.
could make you could be in a borderline mood, and then you see someone bitching. It's like, God, like you kind of take it on. So people
yeah.
need to be mindful of
Sure.
what they post.
Yeah. It's tough. I could see both sides. What I want to see is real talk.
Right.
Being about, I don't want to see. I do want to see when I really bombed tonight.
Yeah.
I love that because there's not a lot of us that do.
It's
So,
like authentic.
so and I
Right.
don't think that's negative.
Well, it can be, but I'm saying like, yeah, you're right. Negativity.
Yeah. Like it's not taking a jab at anybody else. That's not bringing someone else down. And I don't want to get soft on like the bullying talk. Like there's internet bullies out there, but it's like, it's one of those things when you go on and this, like, it's the same few people just bash it. It's kind of like, dude, like, come on.
Moms with young kids, like unfollow them a lot of the time. Creepy thing. I don't want to see a bunch of baby pic ever see. Like
Yeah, I
feel weird knowing what the kid's doing. So there's that part, but I understand the part where it all day. They're not talking. We used to have more of a community. You would go. I feel like neighbors are like it's like unusual now. We go talk to your pastor, priest, rabbi, or whatever. You used to go do
dynamic now is like some people who've moved in who are like, and they're in their and sorry, mom and dad. No, but there are like some younger people. My dad's like, trying to talk at him, and the guy's like, I just want to go inside and watch like cards. Like, please stop talking to me. It's in like old school form of communication. Because kind of for me, when I'm home, neighbors, I'll be honest, like I just want to go inside and do my work. I want to get it over with, so I'm down here and talk to everybody.
Sure, but it's also kind of what Laina kind of throws out there is be full.
Exactly.
And I see it almost in a like, look, if I'm not and something's going on with the dogs or whatever family will have, we have enough people in our are cool, and I'll go out of my way to try to help them.
Right.
Now, I'm not thinking like credit with them kind of thing, but I just know the stuff you're doing around the neighborhood. It is just overall, even if you never get like a return favor kind of deal.
So we're looking for a little more positivity, and
Yeah.
tell us a little bit how what you're doing is kind of helping people understand maybe a path, whether that's from a law perspective, being an entrepreneur, or from your thing.
Okay. So just to kind of like explain what I do, because I know it's two very different things.
Yeah.
Look, you're preaching to the choir. I do stand up
Yeah,
and
it
I'm
feels
running a
weird. You know,
company. So
At the beginning of the stuff, I had people say some pretty negative, and I don't care, but I feel like the need to like explain why
go for it.
my arrangement.
This is a great place to talk about it because it's long form.
Yeah. Like, so on the attorney side, I practice law with my dad. You know, we're kind of rebranding, changing a unique firm. I think the other people in our industry, I don't want to name.
How
names,
so?
but
What could
boutique firm, we know everyone, every case have personal service, and we and try hard on each case. So it's not a numbers game. It's not about doing the average of the cases. We're really result from
I'll
every
say it
case.
for you. Not Morgan and Morgan doing retail.
Like I didn't say that.
That exists for a reason. It's a business.
So you're a law firm. You're not a market.
And it's funny because now you can't have one without the other nowadays.
You kind of got to play the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, people, if you look at it as sharing what you do rather than marketing, it doesn't make it feel so. You know what I mean? Like, it's just about sharing a good service that you have rather than like convincing people to come to you.
Right. So you actually do give a shit about your clients.
Yeah,
is what you're trying to say.
We really do. So anyway, so that's that aspect. The other aspect is the entrepreneurial stuff that I'm developing. So we talked about solo. You know the deal with like
Rolls
a
off
one-person business, and they're wearing 50 hats, and legal is like the least. The information's all over the place. Developing online products for solopreneurs based on their business. So say you're a coach, I'll sell you a downloadable product that has the contracts that you need, the templates that you need, and like a mini video that kind of takes you through briefly and clearly what you need to be aware of. So you're not getting the whole like entrepreneurial broad-based thing. You're getting what you need to know in your field in a very clear, concise way.
Right. And efficient.
Right. Does that make sense?
So I think absolutely. There's a lot of value in that as well.
Yeah. And hopefully the idea is to, you know, branch out to different solopreneurs and kind of have something for everybody, because there's a huge gap between people starting off not having the amount of money that they need to hire a professional attorney to, you know, spend thousands of dollars on contracts, and it's one contract. And then what do you do with it? You know, you have one contract and you don't know what to do with it, what it means, and what else to watch out for. It's not fair.
And I think with you know, with legal and solopreneur, having been there,
I've been fucked.
It's kind of one of those things where it's kind of like being sick and not going to the doctor. Something's wrong, but you're not addressing the problem.
Yeah.
It's a little out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. It's like the last kind of cliche thing I'll throw at that. It's one of those things where it's going to come back, and it's going to, you're because of it.
Yeah.
If you just put up that money and do a little bit of damage control and prevent some of those problems, and how, you know, going out and I don't know if that exists yet. If it doesn't, you're awesome. You know, first to the market isn't goal. It's the best. But being first with that would definitely, but it's one of the, if you can reach out to the right people and get in, save people so many headaches.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so,
I mean, it sucks to be starting off and really be worrying about your website, your marketing, and what you're doing and doing it well, to have like leaking over your head. It sucks. It like,
if you can go to tocoworks.com, COWORKS.com, 433-0403. Woo! Yeah. But I totally get it. And the first thing I tell a lot of startups, because we work with a lot of startups as well, is look, you know, I can't read well, and I can't speak very
Damn St.
eloquently.
Mary's.
Yeah. No, I
Should've
couldn't.
done a little
Oh,
better.
I couldn't read in class. It was horrible.
Really?
Miss Bauer's class, history class, is tough. She would call me because she knew. Yeah, I don't care. I'll say
my
it.
Gosh.
Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking about
her and her
having-
fucking Eddie Bauer duck shoes.
I haven't thought about her in like forever.
This is how my
Shots
mind
fired.
works. I don't know shit about physics or American history or any of that, like chemistry, but the most trivial kind of shit like that.
You know,
I fucking hate him, man. She's teaching.
Oh my
She's having
gosh.
trouble. All right, so enough Ms. Bauer bashing, but no, I love her. No, it's one of those things where, you know, I tell every startup or really small business that just hasn't, they're finally getting their shit together when they're talking to us. We get about half the people we talk to are kind of that. Good accountant and have a good lawyer.
Mhm.
That's another way after the E. Those are the two ways you get really fucked. By not understanding a little bit about how accounting works, how taxes work, because it's how little people know in the business.
it's almost a little bit embarrassing because law is it's civilization, right? With all this other stuff, you know, if you've got, you know, started a business, you got the passion, the drive, you can make all those other things work. You cannot make law work.
No,
because that
Right.
takes time.
your contracts are only as good as they're tight,
exactly.
and people can get out of them. I see you smirking because it's like, you know, that's like 101 shit. You know, I'm not even giving like real advice.
No, I mean,
Look, that's not even
Everybody
in a
should fucking know
textbook.
that.
Yeah.
it's important. I mean, and legal information is scattered everywhere. There's nothing good that's like tailored towards your specific company, your specific industry. You know, tons of websites and and you don't even know if the information you're
Like, is Robert Shapiro on LegalZoom? Do I trust that guy?
right.
That sounds like a familiar name. Was he in the OJ trial? Like, you're like, you have no idea. And then if you go to a lot of law firms, it's like, well, cool. It's $50 an hour.
Yeah.
To even just talk,
Mhm.
and then it'll be $1,200 per, $1,300 per phone call.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and I totally get it, because what you're trying to do, maybe you talk to one, and I think about a lot of this kind of consulting, counseling, that kind of stuff when we get called in. How can I take this, and then the next time, similar field, similar industry, almost template this out? And you're thinking
Exactly
about
what it
that
is.
way, because talk to hair salon, it's
Mhm.
going to be difficult because it's like on.
Right.
Mhm.
But once you go, okay, I got a lot of this stuff. Here's what they need to protect themselves about, commission rates. Here's how they need to protect liability.
That's exactly
Have
it.
$1 million in recovery, personal, all that shit. Then you can kind of replicate that, and that's called experience or wisdom. So I totally get what you're doing, and I think that was the avenue you're going with.
That's what I'm trying to add. I mean, I see a lot of value with online products.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the law is an area after work solopreneurs that the legal world hasn't really developed or caught up with that trend in digital products.
Oh wait, time out. Speaking of solo, Hope Solo was working out at the gym I go to, and she checked out my ass. So
Yeah.
Solo.
Wow.
the
nice.
soccer player, the
Oh.
U.S. women's soccer team, was working out at Powerhouse Gym.
She's the one who will
Nice.
fight any guy
Yeah.
at any time.
But I looked up and I was like, she's pretty cute, and she's looking at my ass.
Yeah. Oh,
And
she's
she's
really good looking.
I was on that foam roller thing. I got a Brazilian ass. I got a big ass. It's not caramel colored. It's real white. It's like this white, as white as this table. And I looked up, and she's looking at it. It was like, who is that?
It's like, you want me
I was like, did
Can
I
I do
annoy
that?
this chick at a comedy show? Doing the same thing as everybody else. Oh shit, this is
to
the.
All right, sweet.
Anyway,
What kind of got you to what was a little bit of the inspiration? You're going the law firm route.
Right.
You're
Right.
and then what kind of sparks in your head really kind of fill a need here?
Okay. So one of the things that I thought you were going, like, how did I get into the coaching things? That's a
Well, no,
whole
we're
other thing.
we're gonna.
Okay.
yeah.
So for this, I don't know. it kind of coincides with that because
Don't worry about what I'm stuff. It's just for
no,
like,
I wasn't even worried.
So a description later. We'll forget shit. So if you're like,
we're gonna text each other tonight about what on the show. I'm like, I have no idea.
If I keep notes during this, it's a lot easier. Well, neither of us want to listen ourselves on on audio or video. So go ahead. Sorry.
So I've learned to trust inspiration, which is like when you get like inspired ideas, and this is something that's completely opposite of what they teach you in law school. They don't teach you anything about using that side of your brain, using the more emotionally intelligent, like intuitive side. So
a little less creativity.
Oh, and that's a whole other story of like undoing your thinking in law school, because it gets pretty, I don't know, that's a whole other story. A friend of mine, she was actually my life coach at the time. She was going to do, or the both of us were interested in this program called B School. Have you heard of her or of this? So she's killing it. She is, I think she's the top like 100 fastest growing companies.
Wow.
If you look at the list of the top 100, I think she's within it.
That definitely counts as killing it. Yeah.
She's killing that. She practices a lot of content marketing, has like a show, but her big product is this B School, and she does it once a year, and it covers everything from, idea generation all the way through to creating websites. Definitely not as good as Tocobago websites, but she teaches you how to do it on your own in a more online format. It's a very, very like soulful approach. Yeah. It's legitimate. She's endorsed by Richard Oprah. She's legit at what she does, but she has this like soulful, non-slimy angle. So
yeah, a lot of those kind of programs slippery on the kind of on the
and the thing is, and I guess it's content marketing doing its job, but she puts out so much great free stuff all the time that's so helpful. Well, you can't help but trust her.
We talked about it off air. This is technically for us. We're genuinely interested. It doesn't have to be a pejorative. It doesn't have to be a bad thing.
Right.
We have good content out there. We want to be. Caleb and I started this because this is what both talk about anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, have you heard about this? Have you heard about this? Have you checked this out? This gives us an excuse to bring people in like yourself. Right. Like we haven't talked in a while.
Yeah.
So this is good to like, hey, we don't know about this chick. We don't know about Maria.
She's like the super successful, nationally recognized.
Yeah,
like, chick.
Chicks and dudes. I still call them.
I'm the same way.
And but it doesn't mean it has to be bad. Like we genuinely want to. This does help people someday. Getting good feedback that, like, hey man, this has been really good. If anything, kind of hammering home, I need to get a little bit more being curious.
Yeah,
that's like the best.
Well, and I bet this lady started probably the same emotions, the same things as kind of like when you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you say, man, I think I have something to provide to other people who may be in the same realm. And then, you're like, who wants to hear me talk? You know what I mean? It's like,
the ego, for sure.
It's really funny. As it turns out, it's like, you might surprise yourself, so that's really cool. So
it's like maybe our highest episodes.
Yeah.
But if you really think about it, if we're somebody that's actually listening, because podcasting way more intently, like it almost feels almost in a lot of ways. Most doing laundry, driving, Excel work, so tasks they do.
Set like a magic game or a lightning game, or
they're doing something else while they're doing it usually. But it's like you put all those people in one room, and that's a huge like speech you're giving. And so while our numbers aren't high now, we hope later down the line it will be. I'm sure she was the same way.
Oh my God. I mean, and that's the story that makes her so relatable. Like if you follow everything she did from the beginning of her entrepreneurial career, and like all she was doing, I mean, all of these things, and somehow,
I pictured her as a heavy black woman.
No, she's awesome. You should pull her up.
When you say, you kept saying soulful.
Yeah.
So I was
wow.
like, oh
you
yeah, I want a big. Well,
well, you got to unplug that, man.
Look,
Pull her up.
look, big black ladies give the best.
The most comfortable ones.
Can you disagree with that?
No.
I don't think anybody can. You know why? Because you sound racist. All right. All about it.
So, where
you
I
just attended that school.
It's an online program, and at the time, I was like, I have no idea how much injury law, but do it, and I kind of trust that if something like if I'm excited about it and it interests me and it's educational, like why not try it? I have a lot to learn. When I was in business school, we didn't cover any of the online stuff, and that's all it is now. So I did this with my friend. We went through the program. It's like 8 weeks, 8 modules.
Mm-hmm.
And she's look at her.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Get this pop-up shit out of here.
Laina. You got to have pop-up.
Where can, if anyone's where can they find this? What's this link, Law?
It's marieforleo.com.
Give you the sloppy, lazy way of doing it. I just put Maria Marie. Well, I put Maria B School and she popped up. Super popular.
Yeah.
She's SEO'd out. Like she's done everything.
She's got a photo with Oprah on her main page, right. So she's doing something.
But it just becomes its own machine.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to really spin shit in SEO. There's already people involved. So
she's great. I mean, she's amazing. She's been doing it. So like the big things that I've gotten from her are that, you know what, with this, like no matter who shows up, great content consistently and like make it something that you really care about, something that's really valuable. And if you do that consistent, intentions are good with it, you're gonna.
Yeah.
There's examples of that in the content market.
Yeah. And I think if you're doing something coming from that sort of angle, and it's like, man, if this is something you really care about, it's gonna come through in your post. You may not reach the. You're gonna want to reach your target,
right?
You know what I mean? You're gonna find out who your target is. Really good example of that I've shared. But a buddy of mine put out a skincare line. They would simple stuff, organic chapsticks, hand salve, soaps, stuff like that. And for some reason, they found rock climbing community like just took up and kind of made it their own thing. And they're like, rock climbing hand salve company now. And so they're just really reaching and speaking the loudest to, and you kind of run with that. So I hear that. So.
Yeah, and it's good you have. I'm going to steal a term from Bert Kreischer.
Machine.
I look to him. He uses the term nautical beacon, and you're looking at Marie. Hey, this is like, what the fuck are you doing? You're doing, especially in the Tampa Bay area. It's very like it's not all that open-minded in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people should be like, that's really cool. Tell me more about it. But no matter where you are, you're going to get haters about this because it's their own it's their own like fear.
Right. Absolutely.
And so one of the things I look to, and you're doing this, it sounds like even on a level, we talk about people in your life that are mentors, but also people you don't have much you don't even know to look up to. Bert Kreischer, how he's how he's a TV host. Listen to his podcast because he's dealing with the family. I told you, Laina and I were talking before the show because he's an entrepreneur, but he's the quickest guy on any podcast. He's hilarious. He really tough better than anybody. He also shot 2 documentaries. He shot a feature. He's got Mangria. He's got a lot of
and the balance is there.
And he's a professional race car driver. He has Catch a Contractor. Was the other one? There's another one in there. He's got a lot of things going on, and that's the satisfying life. I think that's the content life.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan's the same. Podcast is great. He brings insanely smart, and he has with them. because he's genuinely curious. Probably it's always in the top 10.
Yeah.
And he also does UFC, and he also does the UFC announcing, but he also does stand up.
Rogan, where did Rogan start? Was Rogan on the show? Was he a host of? It was like some network show.
Fear Factor.
Yeah.
Fear Factor, and then in the podcast, that's really when things kind of took off. So 9,
because he kind of be more expressive about his own.
What is the best? I mean, you should really start one because if you go on the radio, you get 3. You can stay on the whole 4 hours with the DJ, but you only get spurts of like 3 to 6 minutes.
Yeah.
As a comedian, because you have to like try to wedge in jokes to get people to go to the show, and it always feels jaded or stilted. And this is great because it's like, hey, this is if I asked you to happy hour, we'd probably have a similar focused. It's a little bit more proper, but it is like it's a good excuse to call you up, and you're brimming with a lot of stuff, and you're working. You're probably worried you could go on Tangent Highway.
You don't do
a lot
that,
of directions.
You don't do that though. Don't put that on yourself.
I don't like to
you don't do
I don't
that.
like to say that. No, but I can tell you've got a lot to say, and you're holding it back right now because it's only an hour show. But like you should be or a podcast or both, or
I mean, I'm gonna pick your brain after this. So
yeah. Well, I want to hear what
we'll come back
what happened on. All right, so you went to B school.
So B school is all virtual. So I did that, and the cool part about B school, and it's gonna sound maybe funny, but the way it's structured is you have like modules, and they get released every week, and then there's like some weeks where you have breaks where she'll do a Q&A live, and you get like PDFs, videos, worksheets, all this stuff, and it's all well branded, and the content's great. Like it's truly awesome. But good access to this Facebook group with everyone with you.
Wow. Yeah.
So
how many people would you time you did
I have no
1,000,
idea.
10,000?
Because you have lifetime access material, and she's constantly updating it, and it's constantly growing. So she launches once a year. But so you get to see, I mean, it's amazing that you can actually develop a community on Facebook in a group now. And I got to see like
or on Slack. Yeah. I'll show you that.
Okay.
I've talked too much about Slack on this podcast.
I have no idea what that is.
It's team communication. So it's changing the way businesses kind of talk. It's awesome. I'll show you once we get off. We use it for Tampa Pit event we throw on every October. I can trim down so much bullshit.
Oh, I want to see. It's awesome. I love learning about this stuff. So.
Another like advantage of like having you in is like, hey, I know about this app. You know about this app. Is it going to trim down time that I feel is duplicative? I mean, how many emails do I'm on or get stressed about when it's unread? Like it's that shit sometimes there, and I get like guilty. I'll see it, but I don't open it. Yeah.
I mean, there's a phrase with entrepreneurs in business. And it's like, can you live at inbox? Your inbox is literally 0. Open, deleted, archived in the proper folder, and you're good to go. And it's like become a thing.
Okay, if you have an assistant, like a virtual assistant.
That's my Bonzi trick.
I mean, that's kind of
that's gonna be my new Zen thing.
Yeah.
What's the little? That's gonna be mine. That's
your little
to figure that out.
A little rake and some sand,
meticulous
rock in
email organization. Suck at it.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. I'm with you. So if you learn how to do that, let me know.
It's just like anything. I'm gonna train for a marathon. This is something I'm gonna do. And it starts like 6 months from now. It's gonna take a long time. I'm not a good runner. I don't have the runner's body. I have that you just kind of stretched out. Hence the big ass. You ever seen a midget walk where the like hind legs, like
looking at the app though.
But like the legs kind of swoop out to the side like a big fucking like a drag race.
Yeah.
You know how the tires are on the side almost, but they're in the back. The legs are. But I know it's 6 months really for me to become and be more flexible. And it's going to take at least 4 runs a week.
Yeah.
A lot of stretching, a lot of cardio.
To clear out your inbox?
Well, it's the same thing. It's
okay, all right. I'm just making sure.
Well, eventually, if I'm
inbox is like filled
but
to the brim.
You could go on a treadmill and walk, and do shit on your phone,
right?
And you're kind of doing 2 things at once.
Yeah.
That 20 minutes, at least you're like, I feel like I got something out of this other than
right.
email. So I try to double stuff.
Yeah.
I'll ride a bike and on social media sometimes.
Yeah.
Those I know getting disciplined with our legal, with internal processes.
Oh, yeah. There's always up. I think that's the bottom line with any business, solopreneur. There's always something you can be.
But make it.
That's the balance.
Make it so you don't even think about it. It seems overwhelming now. That's why it sucks. Because you're like, how can I even make a dent? You know?
Have you heard of Unroll Me?
Yep.
Oh, the problem is
what is it? I haven't heard of it.
Unroll.me, right?
So it's like this thing where you have a password, you log in, collects like everything that you're subscribed to. So if you're anything like me, I don't know if you are, but I'm a sucker for opt-in. So I put my email.
I still sound like I go way back.
I'm rocking Lycos, bro.
Like all your emails into one like roll. So you can see like little snippets of all your emails and you get it once a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
But I don't check it.
It started.
She's like, but I don't use it. So.
Well, okay. So it's not really a ringing endorsement.
Yeah. Condensed, but I don't check it.
No, that's just to find anything that can help with productivity and help relieve a little stress. Worth a few minutes to check into. So
a good coach and a good teacher is like, you're not perfect, and when you're giving advice, they either have this weird kind of the same thing, the fear of like, well, you're not fucking perfect, or like, what? It's like, well, no, I'm trying to work on these things that affect me. That's the big difference, and I'm trying to do the disciplines to make it happen.
I mean, I feel like we're all working on something at some point in our lives. Like,
yeah,
do something better. There's always something that pops up. Like, what?
That was like a high statement. Like, we're all working on something
at
some point in our life.
I do. I can kind of relate though. I think that if you're not, I mean, you're gonna get left behind. So I think that's the way it is now. If you're not improving something, you're gonna end up getting kind of like left in the dust. So, I have a question for you, because you know, entrepreneurs who are probably don't have a lot of help if they're solopreneur. A lot of them are probably first timers. You know, what are some of the main things that you see gives people?
Probably
as far as goes and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of people who have online businesses and client-based businesses. So I would say not having a proper agreement in place from the outset causes the most problems.
God,
and
you're
like
100% right.
And don't have some template track. Like,
just because every deal is kind of different. Every
everything
client's
is different. And to me, like, there's nothing that drives me crazy more than like the video contract. Like, have them sit down with you and walk you through so you know how to use the contract, because it's a living, breathing document. You should be able to be comfortable enough to where when you're paragraph 7, you know what it means. Have a great contract in place and really what it means for you.
Yeah.
So both of you know what the hell you're
That's something I fall victim to with business is
handshakes.
We just go based on, hey, you guys are interested, you can go online and pay. And that's it. There's no, the expectation is kind of just understood of what we provide. Just asking for, and I know that. So that's something
you'll learn the hard way.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I've been fucked way too many times until I figured it out. I need to get you with Steve Fantetti, Fantetti Legal. He just started up similar approach you do. He'll sit down and look at. It's how we approach it. There's rules for everybody, especially in street stuff where it's like you got to schedule out, you got due dates, you got payment dates, you got net 15, net 30, due upon receipt kind of payment schedule.
Now people are stressing. They're like, "What the hell is that?"
No, well that's why.
Well, I didn't know what those things are, so
well,
that makes you feel better.
No, I mean you do. I'm just talking from what him and I kind of use, but I'm sure it has other ways of saying it. But basically, kind of, an attorney is very good at being analytical. If outside of writing content, well, most attorneys are very logical. Like legal writing is math writing. It's not creative writing. This here, and we need to make sure this part's here.
Right.
And it's very like to me, it's way more math than English side.
Yeah, and any like a cop is like it can change of something. So you really do have to have someone that knows what they're doing, read it line by line, and have it everything count.
Yeah, I had a comedian last night. I couldn't help it because he didn't have a. So it was like he was
on that and tell him to add the comma, or do you text him?
Because I had some wacky I'm all like, yeah, man, it's cool, man. Like I'll get like real Willie Nelson about it. Well, no, I did text him. I was like, dude, I didn't mean this as like a hate. I don't know you that well. But he said like, man, fuck this shit. And I was like, commas, because you could man fuck or man fuck that shit. Grammar does count. And one thing I'm thinking about now is my grammar's terrible. But like, I love that we'll sit down and explain it. Mm-hmm. Like he's talking to a 3-year-old. He's like, this is why this is important. I'm like, okay. Because even out on the client side is like getting into the zone to pay attention to this shit is rough.
I mean, and that's how you really understand it, is being able to put it in really relatable terms.
Yep.
You know, like legal, I don't know. It's a whole different language.
Well,
is
that something? Is that something? I mean, to cut you off. Is that something you may help some of your clients with? Is having these somewhat legal talking about getting contract. What are you signing? Having that conversation and explaining that to their clients so that they're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
In one of my many jobs, what I do is I deal with patients, and I have to have them sign off on assignment of benefit forms, and they're very, very. I mean, it's 7 different pages, but they're only signing 1 page, and like, what's all this other stuff? And you wouldn't want this. Right. You know what I mean? It's like, there's no ill will in there. There's no wrong, but just they're alert, and they're more like looking for for what's wrong. So that can be detrimental to deals when you're talking about doing this on your own. When you're a entrepreneur in your small business, everything counts. Every dollar counts. You lose something over not being able to properly explain a contract. So I know that's something I would need help with. Mm-hmm. You know, if I need with what a very dumbed down level and a very simple process, but for like with Tocobaga, explaining to these people the terms of what they're binding to, it can be tough. Exactly.
It's really tough. Translate what our attorney Steve is telling me.
Yeah.
And I can't miss a beat. So I have like side notes, like I had to memorize.
And there's probably some reminders that you have to go in there when clients come back around. Let's use Toco working on a website, and they say, "Oh, this is to be done." It's like, it's kind of a breach of contract. This isn't what we agreed upon. Let's go back. We can revisit that, and we can make those adjustments. But based on the deal we have in place,
right?
That's another 30 hours of work that are to be unaccounted for. That's not doable.
Even with that kind of contract, even with those work order change LME, when you're starting out like us, like we're doing okay, we're doing well.
But you kind of just wear it, right?
You kind of take it on the chin because.
And now everybody listening knows that.
customer experience. And I know
Right.
it won't be that way forever.
Of course.
And I know eventually we'll split and have a local division for
Mhm.
the people who need it the most or the hardest to work with a lot of the time.
Yeah.
They won't come 10% to understand what you're doing. Way better than anybody on explaining how the digital landscape kind of works. That's our kind of and so the thing with communication on that, it's like, look, when you're starting out, it's inevitable, but I need this customer experience over me, extra hours.
Mm.
Where we 100 or 180.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll eat that 360 and change or 370 and change for 2 hours of overtime
Mhm.
to have a better customer experience
Absolutely.
for them, because that the current playing field, they don't.
Right.
And our marketing is going to be made in India, or your cousin made for you.
Well, that 360 that may have just walked out of the door, as opposed to 8 p.m. Hopefully that 360 that you're come back in another form.
Right.
It's going to come back. It's going to come back, and them spreading the word and taking on a new client.
I don't want them to see my phone number or my name on any social media and go, ugh. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to like to kind of like I need some kind of good approval from
Yeah.
you. I want to give the best business experience. A lot of that is doing that extra mile, even do it,
Yeah.
but that's what, then you go next time and you go, all right, how can we trim this conversation and really explain, okay, if we're doing it overtime, you know that we're going to tell you about it,
Yeah.
and you're going to have to pay for it, because the service side, this shit's in the ether, man. You at least have contracts that are on paper. Like our shit's like, man, it's like, what? It's designed a logo for like $100.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, it's way harder than that.
Yeah.
You should be paying 10 times the amount, kind of thing. So we're closing on an hour. So
yeah. Well, one more thing I wanted to touch on, we didn't get a chance to talk about, is kind of the life coach aspect of what it is you're. How does that play into kind of the business that you've created?
So it's a little bit separate. I mean, the booze separate.
Two separate things.
So
Okay.
legal, you can't mix with any, like everything you make from legal has to be completely separate from any other
Right.
business venture. So they're two separate things. I kind of got into the life coaching because, not to get crazy, I kind of touched on, they kind of train you to think a certain way and spot problems and argue. And long story short, like 4 years of learning how to argue and focus on problems is not the best for happiness.
Right.
And after law school, I moved back here. All the things that I was supposed to do, I had a good relationship, family.
What do you mean supposed to do?
Like follow
the nationwide kind of commercial life for this actor that doesn't exist.
I was taught, like there's certain jobs provide stability, and if you need to think of stability and finances first. So this is what's going to be secure, and that's not the only reason why I did it, but it definitely played a part of it. And I was like, okay, this isn't completely making me happy. Like there's a lot more that I want to do than helping people in car accidents. There's a lot more that I'm interested in, that I want to, and like in all the different areas of my life, like how are my relationships, how's my my friendships, my family. Like there's tons of different areas of your life, and if you get hyper focused on one, you can really lose track of the rest.
The others,
and 4 years of law school, that's all. And like I said, with legal stuff, you're focusing on arguing and problems. That doesn't make well for, like I said, for happiness.
You're just looking for a fight and wanting to
and
wanting to get in
right,
arguments with people.
And it's kind of crazy.
You want to win more than actually be right.
Yeah,
I'm debating a point. It doesn't mean it's morally the right. Correct,
I mean, like, what's the point of being right? Like, a lot of times, like, your desire to be right is just your ego. Like, why?
Oh yeah.
Just let things be peaceful. Why do you need to argue shit?
You got engaged, huh?
Huh?
You got engaged, right?
I did.
Well, it's similar. Like, my wife and I are very good at arguing. I met her doing stand-up, and she has very good analytical thinking. I have very contrarian thinking. It's a different flip side of everything immediately, without even really consciously knowing what's going on. And she'll think about it for days, and we'll fight about it. But at the like, some of these are like, win the debate, or you really
right.
So and you've got I'm sure you've had that similar.
Yeah. I mean, my fiance, he loves to argue.
Yeah,
no, he's not. He incredibly intelligent. We both, for a long time, really defending our positions and being right, to feel like our point was heard, and doesn't, like, it's not a well recommended. I don't recommend that practice.
Okay, let's just watch Broad City tonight.
Why are we talking about this? So, long story short, I started doing a lot of inner work and thinking about things and thinking about what I really wanted. And I wanted my job to be passionate about. I wanted to bring in creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And I had these set of things that I wanted to do. And I did B school, and I saw these, crazy combinations of people having online businesses. And I knew that I wanted to take, whatever thing that I was creating, I wanted it to be online.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah.
I hired at the time I had no interest in coaching, and I hired a life coach, and it changed.
You hired a football coach, and you're like, that doesn't make sense. I got a life coach.
You're like, that didn't work out.
Not what I wanted. Coach, and it changed a lot for me, and not just because of the coaching, although the coaching was amazing, but what it opened me up to, the things I started studying, the books I started reading, and starting to really live in the different areas of your life instead of just letting life happen to you.
Can you give us a recommendation of maybe a book for someone listening that might, something that, I don't know, gave you an aha moment or really spoke to you or something like that was a little inspirational?
I mean, so Alchemist is an amazing book.
Nice.
I don't know who's read that. Alchemist is really, really amazing. I've read like multiple times in my life. It always means something different. As far as straight personal development kind of book, I love Marianne Williamson, and this might be like a little woo-woo, but there's a book called A Return to Love, and it is, I don't know, it's incredibly impactful.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, if you open mind.
Yeah. See, and the reason I ask that is I think one of the things that I try to do with people now, and this, I don't know why, I don't always just go and like read the books. Or I feel like if you can to a lot of people, just kind of like on the fly or in something, I'll be like, oh, what inspired you to think that way? And I find a lot of people like it was a book or it was a show or something they experienced that, gave them a change. So I always try to pull that out of them because I might want to check it out. So hopefully the people listening, go check out Back to Love.
A Return to Love.
A Return to Love.
And anything by Gabby Bernstein or Deepak are my favorite. Deepak Chopra.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And Gabby Bernstein, both really great, relatable.
Deepak Shakur.
Perfect.
I feel a mashup joke. Yeah, it's I guess, and maybe eventually this podcast will just go until it ends, kind of deal. But
yeah,
for now, I've got to get back to our ladies. But I guess we'll have you back on for sure.
Absolutely.
And then I guess tell people where to find you. We're put a plug out there.
Yeah. So everything pretty much is on my website, and it's Laina Caltagirone. You're gonna write this below it because
for sure.
Yeah. So write it below it.
We need to get a better domain name. Something.
I mean, I don't know what to do about that.
Well, I'll pitch you some stuff once we're done.
Perfect. Facebook, if you find me, Laina Caltagirone, I post a lot of inspirational stuff that I like, that moves me. Yeah, my website.
Okay. And talk about maybe podcast vlog stuff.
I'd love to learn.
Yeah, and we'll definitely have you again. And I feel like you're brimming with stuff if you want to talk about your
no, you guys are awesome.
Well, I think anybody in the entrepreneurial field, you could really, it's like a bunch of old Jewish ladies playing mahjong. Like they could just talk forever.
Yeah.
it's a good thing. And appreciate you coming. And
Of course.
we'll definitely have you on again.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So if you want to email us, law@COWORKS.com. Not spelled with a K, like a weird Greek guy.
That's right.
CALEB at COWORKS.com. Go on iTunes. Share this episode with a friend if you think this can help them. That's all we give a shit about. Check out urbanresto.com for if you're in the Southeast and want some solid, he can get it to you. A solid plastic furniture.
That's it. Thanks for listening, and go on iTunes with a friend, and woo.